everyone, my name is Katie and this is Katie's Book Nook. There have been a lot of hot topics going around BookTube lately and Book Twitter especially, and today I want to tackle how you can get rare or limited editions of popular books for cheap because it's been crazy lately. The demand for some of these books has gone up wildly within even the last few months. It is so hard to find these books, and I think that a lot of collectors want these types of special editions for their collection because, you know, if you're a book lover, love collecting books, and myself included. I just lately have been on such a kick for buying and collecting books, trying to buy the limited editions of a book. There is just something about when you love a book, having a super beautiful, preserved, limited edition on your shelves. Not only does it look amazing, but it contains one of your favorite stories. I personally love spending money on books because to me, a book is not only a material thing, but an experience. And it's something that you can experience again and again. But it also looks amazing decorating your house on your shelf. I want this video to basically be an overall comprehensive guide on how to find these hard to find books, or how to find these rare books for cheap, or maybe not cheap, but reasonably priced. There have been some outrageous prices that I've seen on the internet, including like $500 for copies of Strange the Dreamer and like $3,000 for copies of the UK hardback of Nevernight by J. Kristoff. I mean, I like collecting books and having a large collection, but I do not like it that much to the point where I will spend $500 on a book, or let alone $3,000. And I think the big key in the search can be just to be patient sometimes, because things will pop up and you just have to be vigilant. But today I'm going to go through a few different types of rare books that people are always on the outlook for, and all the different channels that you can go through to find these books, and the tips and tricks that have worked best for me. Also, I'm going to go through a few of the super popular ones that people are trying to get their hands on, and to see what sort of options are available out there, and the best way to find what you want to add to your bookish collection. First up, I want to do a discussion on why these books become rare in the first place, and it all has to do with supply and demand. If a book is super popular and it has plenty of copies available on the market, it's not going to be something that people are going to buy for because they know that they can purchase it at any time. Other times, a book will have a limited run and there will be a resurgence in popularity after the fact, and the book is already out of print and the publisher is not going to want to publish more. This is exactly what happened with Nevernight. The Nevernight UK hardcover, when it was first published, was not expected to be as popular as it is, and now in 2019 the prices for that book are ridiculous because people are doing anything to get their hands on it because it is just a lovely book for a fantastic series. There is also a difference in UK versus US hardback market. I think in the United States, hardcovers are always, for the most part, published first. Every book will come out in hardcover and about a year later come out in paperback, whereas in the UK a lot of books just initially come out in paperback and there isn't really a hardcover printing, or if there is, it's a limited run, such as Strange the Dreamer and Nevernight. But there are some hardcover books in the US that go out of print and become popular, such as one of them that I've seen is The Bear and the Nightingale US hardcover by Catherine Arden, and that is just a choice of the publisher to stop printing in hardcover. However, when doing research for this video, I found that especially in the US with the book markets, the purchase of hardcovers is on the rise, and I think it has a lot to do with book collectors, and I even think that platforms such as BookTube and Bookstagram are kind of the driving force behind this resurgence of popularity. People thought when the ebook came out that that was going to be the death of the publishing market, and yet today we are seeing a resurgence in the popularity of hardcover and just purchasing physical books in general. And basically a hardcover book is more durable, but it also is more expensive to produce, which is why hardcovers are usually more expensive than paperback books. So if a publisher has high hopes for a book and knows that it is going to do well, they are going to release it in hardcover, whereas sometimes it will just go straight to paperback. I think this is less common in the United States, but it's pretty common in the United Kingdom. If a book is predicted to be popular, there will be special editions that the publisher will do to kind of increase the allure of the book and hopefully increase sales. For example, a lot of Sarah J. Maas books have, when they first are released, limited edition runs that kind of, because there is less of a supply, it drives up the demand. The 3 or 4 main players that I see with the power and the money to do these special edition runs are definitely Barnes & Noble in the United States for sure. They always have exclusive editions of books and it's not always books that are going to be like the most popular, but they still have like a lot, especially with YA books, that you will always see that like tag for the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, and that is kind of like a brand thing that they do, and you can sometimes, they're completely different, like the Wicked King and the Cruel Prince have those black covers, or sometimes it just has extra little contents in the back, such as like an extra epilogue or some extra bonus content. The other one in the United States that I see is Books A Million, and their exclusive editions I've mainly seen with Sarah J Maas books, and those are usually like hardcovers with artwork on them. In the UK, I would say the two main players for special editions are Waterstones and Goldsboro Books. So Waterstones, I think, is bigger than Goldsboro Books, so they do limited runs. I've seen like the Shadowhunters books with the Rune editions that they have. These guys. And I've also seen them release some sprayed edges editions of things like Nevernight Chronicles. And then Goldsboro Book, I think mainly will do like special editions that are signed and have sprayed edges. Those retailers will get these like contracts to do these special editions of these books, and then they will only do them for a limited run, and when they're gone, they're gone. And when they're gone and people want them later on, they get really popular and people will resell them for sometimes exorbitant amounts online, sometimes reasonable amounts online. It just depends when you catch the market. Another thing that is really popular with book collections is getting a first edition first print of a book, and like I think this is especially harder to get like the older of the book that you're looking for, because a first edition first print is like the first ever print of a book, and if a book is successful years later, people will want that first edition because it is like, it's the first. It has some sort of special value to book collectors, and so sometimes you'll see people be like, oh, this book is a first edition, and that's what it means, first edition, first printing. Some other book collectors also like to collect ARCs, otherwise known as advanced readers copies. These are sent out to reviewers by publishers for basically some pre-review of the books before they come out, and this is to generate hype, because the more hype your book has, the better it is going to sell, and that is just marketing. A few months ago, I did a video on all of my collector's editions books that I have, so you can check that one out, and that will go into more detail about each book. But right now I'm going to go into the books that I have that are maybe considered rare, or if not rare, at least harder to find than just going onto Amazon and like putting it in your cart and 2 days later it arriving at your door. So with that being said, let's get into it. This book is my pride and joy, and as you can see, it has the blue sprayed edges, and I only got this book for $30, so it is definitely possible to find Strange the Dreamer UK hardback for a reasonable price. You just really have to be patient. I also have the limited run of Muse of Nightmares with the orange sprayed edges, and right now, if you were to buy a book from Book Depository or something like that, it will not have the sprayed edges, so this was only the first printing limited run that did these sprayed edges, and a lot of the times, the reasons that publishers will only do these sprayed edges printings for like a limited run or exclusive amount of time is that it is just more expensive to produce. So one thing that I wanted to mention with Muse of Nightmares with the orange sprayed edges, because I know it is something that people are still looking for, is if you order from Book Depository, it will come with regular edges, which is what I initially did, and I'm holding on to that book in case it goes out of print and becomes valuable one day. But this orange sprayed edges one, I actually just purchased the book regularly from Amazon UK, and it came with the orange sprayed edges. I'm assuming just because Amazon is such a large retailer, they probably bought more of these orange sprayed edges books to begin with during the first printing, and they still have more to ship out, whereas other retailers may have run out and then they have to purchase the regular non-sprayed edges edition. So if you're looking for this one with sprayed edges, Amazon UK is a really good bet. Hopefully they have not run out yet, but I bought this book about a month ago and they still had this sprayed edges one, and it isn't advertised as anything special. It's just you buy Muse of Nightmares hardcover and it comes with the sprayed edges. The next exclusive edition that I picked up this winter was The Wicked King by Holly Black. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. Not only does it have this beautiful black cover with white hardback, it also has a few extras in the back. I believe we get a little chapter from Carden's point of view. A Darker Shade of Magic is one of my favorite series, and right now the first two books have collector's editions out. So this is A Darker Shade of Magic and this is Gathering of Shadows, and I'm assuming that Conjuring of Light is coming out in the special edition next year. And as well, there are also the Barnes & Noble collector's edition where this one is silver and this one is rose gold. However, I have decided to stick to collecting just these black editions because, like, as much as I want every single printing of this series, I just decided that I liked the black collector's editions better, and so that is what I'm collecting. But those ones are also on the market. I believe that the silver one of A Darker Shade of Magic is now no longer available on the Barnes & Noble website, but Gathering Your Shadows just came out in rose gold, so if you're interested, make sure you check that one out. These next books are the Waterstones Rune editions of Lord of Shadows and Queen of Air and Darkness, which I just recently acquired through like secondhand sellers. And again, I will be going into more detail about how to find these guys later on in the video, but I cannot find Lady Midnight anywhere because that is like a unicorn, is what is known as like a really hard to find book, but hopefully maybe one day I will be able to acquire it, and if not, it's okay, I still have these lovely books. Speaking of Queen of Air and Darkness, the first printing of this book has illustrations within it, which is also in the Waterstones one, but the US edition has art on the inside of the cover jacket, and I'm not sure how long this edition is available for, but I know that like not every printing is going to have this. I also have the Kingdom of Ash Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, but it is all the way at the bottom pile of these books, so I don't feel like taking it out, but just know that I have the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, which had pretty much like sold out on the pre-orders and like was gone from stores really quickly. And sometimes Barnes & Noble will do a few restocks of these books, like a few months later it was restocked in like January or something like that, but not for a long time. The next rare book that I have is God's Grave by J. Kristoff, which like was pulled from shelves about like 2 weeks after I bought this book, so I'm glad that I bought it when it did, because it just recently went out of stock or was like pulled out of stock by the publisher. I'm unclear on that, but I do think that because the Nevernight UK hardcover is in such high demand, J. Kristoff is working with his publisher to potentially do a reprint and has been hinting at it pretty strongly on Twitter. Hopefully he will announce it soon. I don't know why he would be hinting at it if it wasn't something that was going to happen, so like, please don't let me down, J. Kristoff. But in the meantime, I'm happy that I have this one, and I already ordered the Waterstones edition of the UK Dark Dawn cover with the black sprayed edges. Some other limited run books that I have are Owl Crate or Fairy Loot editions of books. So these books will be printed in small quantities just for the subscribers of the book box that month, and then sometimes they go on resale, like the Cruel Prince and the Wicked King by Holly Black is selling for like hundreds of dollars on eBay, those Owl Crate editions. Sometimes they don't really have a resale value, it just like depends on the popularity of the book. But for example, I have this copy of The Gilded Wolves, which has just like silver instead of gold, and Four Dead Queens by Astrid Schulte, which just has red in the background instead of blue. So these are subtle changes that are just exclusive to Owl Crate. It's a cool little fun thing to have for book lovers and book collectors, but I don't think that they necessarily have a really high book resale value. My best tip for finding these books, if you want these exclusive editions and they are not on shelves, is to just ask around friends on book Twitter, because sometimes people can get these books in book boxes and maybe they don't want them, or they're done reading them and they don't feel the need to keep them. And to just list off a few others that I don't necessarily own myself, but I know are rare books that are kind of more hard to find. I'd asked people on Twitter what they thought that were their hard to find books that people were really looking for, and just like looking around the internet, these out of print books are popular and hard to find, like the Cruel Prince Barnes & Noble edition. I do have the Wicked King, as I showed before, but like I cannot find the Cruel Prince anywhere. The Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor trilogy UK hardcover, I think they are out of print, but they are somewhat obtainable online for a reasonable price. As I mentioned before, the Waterstones edition of Lady Midnight is like impossible to find, so maybe one day I'll be able to find it, but for now, like it goes on eBay for like $500, and like I want it, but I don't want to spend $500 on it. That's ridiculous. The first printing of the Diviners, and a lot of times series with cover changes can be something that goes for some money. So for example, I think the original UK covers of An Ember in the Ashes goes for a decent amount of money. And of course, if you know any popular books that are hard to find that you are currently looking for, please comment down below, because I think it can be really helpful for everyone to watch this video to kind of help each other out if they know of a way to find the book. So now, my strategy for finding these hard to find books. Strategy number one is just buying the book when it first becomes available and is not going for resale. So like for example, The Wicked King I bought right when it came out. Barnes & Noble exclusive editions I tend to buy when they first come out, but you know, that's not always possible because you may not become aware of a book series or want these special editions until it's too late and now they are only available for resale. So in that case, here is my little series of steps that I go through to find these books online for good prices. Step number one is that I will go to a site where I can look up the ISBN number of the book. If it is like a UK book, I will sometimes go to Waterstones because they have a lot of the exclusive editions that I'm looking for. go to the product page for the book, search for it in the search bar, scroll down, and then I will see the ISBN of this book. And ISBN is just like kind of like the barcode number given to every book to identify by edition. So for example, the Waterstones Rune editions of the Dark Artifices books have different ISBNs than the US hardbacks, and the US hardbacks and US paperbacks of most books have different ISBN numbers, and this is to differentiate them so that when you are searching, you can find it by edition. Next, my go-to site is bookfinder.com. This site, I think, was probably designed to be used in order to find textbooks, because that is kind of what it advertises on its site, but I mean, it works for anything. You go to the main page and you scroll down, and I always just paste in my ISBN number that I got from the bookseller website, and it will search the web for any incident of this ISBN number, and it will pull up matches for this ISBN number on any site. So this is really useful because it will go into these sites and find, like, on Amazon UK, sometimes it's like the used book section that is not overtly apparent on their website sometimes, and for other sites it will pull up, while sometimes going to these sites originally will not pull up the book for you. And then from there you can just see what is available kind of all in one place and see the prices that these books are going for. And they also separate it by new and used, so that is really good. One thing to keep in mind when using the ISBN number is sometimes people will list books with the wrong ISBN number, so when you click on the product page, make sure to verify that it does say what you think it is, and if on whatever website, if you are unsure, you can always reach out to the seller or to the site in general to try and confirm with them before you buy, if it is something that is not like one copy only and you need to get it before someone else gets it. From there, I will look on there and see all of these sites that it has pulls up. A lot of the popular ones I will refer to is Amazon, third-party seller if it's not being sold on like the main page of Amazon, Abe Books and Thrift Books, with other booksellers that will list the ISBN. However, this is not the only place that you can go for a book, because a lot of times there are people that are just selling their own copies of books and don't know to put the ISBN on there. So if there's something that I cannot find from Bookfinder, or I'm not happy with the prices on there, I will go to these other websites where people are just selling their stuff and type in the keywords associated with these books and see what is available. So my next kind of, after using Bookfinder, my next steps are to check eBay. And with eBay, you just kind of want to make sure that you're leaving your search broad enough that whatever you want will show up, but also sometimes if you can see the listings, you can kind of try and narrow in. So for example, for the Cruel Prince, you could type in the Cruel Prince and a bunch will pop up, but if you want like the Barnes & Noble edition, if you type in the Cruel Prince Barnes & Noble, things might not pop up, but if you type in like the Cruel Prince Black edition, you might get a hit on that. So it's really just trying to refine your search based on what you think people that are selling the book will advertise it as, because sometimes people are selling the book and they know that it has a high value, and so they will want to make sure that their description is as good as possible, or sometimes people don't know that what they're selling is valuable and they're just putting it on the internet, and so they'll be like, oh, Cruel Prince Black, and that's that. The next site that I go to is Mercari, which is, I think, a lot of times used for resale of like clothes, but people can basically have like their own closets and stuff, and they can just post stuff that they own. And I will type in, like, trying again, starting with the broadest search term that I can and narrowing it down depending on the types of hits that you get. And a lot of times people will resell like book box items on here as well. And again, a lot of times people do not list the ISBNs with this, so it won't jump on something like Bookfinder. So I'll go on there and I'll see what's available, and sometimes you can see what has been sold in the past. So you can see that people have posted their books on there that are hard to find, maybe before the demand went up so much, and you can keep an eye on it to see maybe someone will post something one day. And then the other site that I check is Depop, which I think is more of like an app on your phone, but again, people will just list stuff from their closets or from their own personal supplies, put it up there. A lot of times ISBN is not on there, so it does not show up as a hit on bookfinder.com. So when I am searching for a book, that is kind of the process that I will go through, and I will check like every day, every other day, because if something is not available one day, that doesn't mean it will never be available. The way that I got Strange Dreamer is I just continually went on the website every day to check, and then one day a listing had popped up on Amazon UK, which is this guy, and it was listed in like acceptable condition. Another thing you want to keep in mind is the condition of the book that is being sold. If you want like a nice book but it's in horrible condition, maybe you don't want it, or you don't want to pay the price that they are advertising it for. However, sometimes I've bought books in like acceptable condition and they've came great, or sometimes you can buy books in good condition and they come with some sort of defect. So it really kind of is a gamble, but hope for the best, but try not to spend too much money on a used book if you are not 100% sure of the quality of the book that you are going to get, because the worst thing is paying a lot of money for a book and then not getting a book that is worth the money that you paid for it. I had been pretty much searching for this edition of Stranger Dreamer, and I didn't even want the blue sprayed edges. Like, I just wanted this cover for like a month, and I just kept going on the website and always checking, and then this popped up one day and I just went on and I bought it, and I was so happy. And when it arrived, it had the blue sprayed edges, and my jaw dropped and I like got really emotional because I was so excited that I had gotten this book for this deal for $30, and it was just a formal library book that someone was selling. I don't know if it was the retailer of the library or something like that, but someone was selling this library book and I bought it. And you know, those listings go fast because there are people like me that have their eyes on these listings all the time. So you just kind of like checking once a day, getting in the habit of just like spending 5 minutes looking for the books that you really want, can pay off in the end. Another type of rare book that is something that collectors want to have for their collection are ARCs, advanced reader copies, and technically the sale of ARCs is illegal because it is a free promotional material that is given out by the publisher before the book is published. However, that does not stop ARCs from being sold. So sometimes you will see ARCs for really popular series on eBay and stuff like that, but just know when you see those listings that is technically illegal, because those are free promotional materials that were given to someone for promotion. And you can see like on an ARC itself, it says not for resale. So like someone that is selling an ARC is really not supposed to be making a profit off of it, whereas someone that buys a book can resell it if they want because they purchased it. However, what is a really popular way for acquiring ARCs on Twitter is something known as books for trade or ARCs for trade. And because ARCs cannot be resold, people that receive ARCs will trade them with people to get other ARCs, and because they're not actually profiting off of this, I'm pretty sure that that's legal. So if you are looking for an ARC or sometimes even rare books, you can go on those hashtags and see what people have. But I found for myself, if I ever try and go on those hashtags and try and find a book, it's not really worth it for me because I don't really have anything to trade that people want. So like I don't really have any ARCs, so like I can't really trade ARCs with people. But if that is something that you have and you're looking for a particular ARC, who knows, you could maybe have some luck on Twitter. So now I'm going to give a demonstration on the actual search process of this book. So I'm going to search for a hard to find book. Okay, so now I have my computer and I'm going to take you through the process of finding Queen of Air and Darkness Waterstones edition that I went through basically to find this edition when I bought it. And you can use this process for finding any book that you're interested in. So first, I'm on the Waterstones website and I am going to type in Queen of Air and Darkness, Air and Darkness, and then I'm going to click on the one that says hardback and has the runes on it. So as you can see, out of stock, this product is currently unavailable and will probably not be getting a reprint. So scroll down to where the ISBN is, and then I copy this, go to bookfinder.com, type in the ISBN number and press search. So now it's searching the internet for all of the different hits that you can find. And right now, these only books that they have are like in the $60s and $70, one that is new and two that are used. So it's maybe not the best example, but if you were to keep checking this day by day, you could potentially find something for cheaper. So now I'm going to click on this new link on Amazon. And as you can see, now we have this listing for £39.60, which is $60 to $11 with shipping of like about $10. And then you can add to basket and you can pay in United States dollars. So this is maybe a little bit pricey, but these are your options, and then they can continue to check the website day after day. Let's also see what is available for Lord of Shadows. Hello, okay, here it is. What I do when I have my eyes on a book that I know is out of stock and is hard to find, I need to check it day after day, I just like have a note on my computer, like one of those sticky notes on the side, but like on the computer, you know what I'm saying? And I can then just go in and copy and paste into the search bar of Bookfinder every day to check. So let's see, Lord of Shadows is available for new hardcover from Grand Eagle Retail on Abe Books for $30.37, which is the seller that I found it from. So it seems like the seller has a stock of the books and you can purchase it on there. So there's the page. So I hope that this video was really informative and you guys have the best of luck on your book buying journey and have some fun, read some books, and catch you guys in the next one.